Alright, so if you haven't already heard for some reason, Sonic Mania, the new classic Sonic game, is going to be coming out in around 8 months from now. And it looks really promising. And I'm almost 100% sure that it's going to be a success. But there's just one potentially major doubt on my mind. Now you're probably thinking, why are you doubting? It looks amazing, Prem. Like, what could you possibly doubt about this game, Prem? I mean, the game looks amazing, right? The visuals, the soundtrack, amazing. Like, listen to Studiopolis Zone, it's so good, like, honestly. The fact that you can play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, we don't even get multiple playable characters anymore, so this is a big deal. Like, the last time we could play as multiple playable characters was 06. That was like a decade ago. Then again, I haven't played the storybook games, so I don't know if that was a thing in those games. Even the character designs, like Sonic looks like his Sonic 2 design mixed with that 06 shade of blue, because 06 actually had my favorite character design for Sonic, and it looked really good. The level design in Studiopolis Zone is just crazy. All the little Easter eggs and the popcorn machine, it's just so creative, and I just really can't wait to play that zone. So what doubt could I have about this game? Well, it goes back to the title of this video. Original or rehash? Now, we saw Studiopolis Zone. It looked completely amazing. It was all new, it was all creative, it was like a new classic Sonic game, and who doesn't want to see that? Like, it looks so great. But then you go to Green Hill Zone, and yes, Green Hill Zone, like the iconic Green Hill Zone, and there were some changes to it, a new boss, you know, some different visuals in the background or whatnot. Like, it wasn't the same Green Hill Zone, but at the same time, it was the same Green Hill Zone. That's my biggest issue. The fact that they basically said reimagined classics. Like, when I look at the Green Hill Zone stage, I think, oh, like this might be alright to play again, but it's really just Green Hill Zone and widescreen. But when I look at Studiopolis Zone, I go, oh my god, this is so much new, so much creativity. I really want to play this stage. I really want to see more stages like this. And I don't know if other people feel the same way as me, but it's really starting to worry me. I mean, now that Mania's been announced, everyone is shitting on Sonic 4. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, sure, Sonic 4 wasn't a real classic Sonic sequel, but it wasn't bad like the way everyone's making it out to be right now. Actually, let's talk about Sonic 4. What are the two reasons that people use for not liking Sonic 4 as much? From what I've heard, one, the control, like the physics and whatnot, were not like the classic games at all. And two, too much rehashing. Like, if we look at Sonic 4 Episode 1, Splash Hill Zone is basically Green Hill, Casino Street is basically Casino Night from Sonic 2, Lost Labyrinth Zone is pretty much Labyrinth Zone, Mad Gear is pretty much Metropolis Zone, and X Station has the Death Egg Robot. Like, it's basically reimagined classics. You see my issue here? And yeah, they did change things up, but it's still reimagined classics. Now let's go to Sonic 4 Episode 2. Sylvania Castle Zone, Aquatic Ruin from Sonic 2, White Park Zone, okay, that one could be considered a bit unique. It kind of reminds you of Twinkle Park. Oil Desert, blatantly Oil Ocean, Sky Fortress Zone, pretty much Sky Chase. It's just a lot of reimagined classics. And if that's something that people complained about in Sonic 4, then how come no one has brought this up with Sonic Mania? That's all I'm saying. Like, for me, this is what it boils down to. For Sonic Mania, what is going to be the ratio of reimagined classics to new stages? You know, I can handle a 20% reimagined classics, 80% new stages. If 80% of the stages are like Studiopolis Zone, all new, all creative, like that would be amazing. Because as we already saw, the level design in Mania was amazing. Studiopolis Zone felt like it had Sonic CD level design, but actually, you know, good. Like, I'm sorry, but for those of you who like Sonic CD, I'm sorry, I didn't really like Sonic CD. It's like they tried to be open with the level design, but they didn't do it right, in my opinion. Personally, I think SA1 got it right when it came to level design. It had the perfect mix of linear and open. It was always easy to find the linear route, but it was also pretty easy to explore and find shortcuts if you wanted to. Whereas CD always felt open without having a clear linear route. It was always like a burden to try and find the linear path, and I just never found it fun, to be honest. If you like it, that's great, but I personally didn't find it fun. I mean, if you look at 3 and Knuckles, they were able to have levels that were more open while still feeling linear. And that's the way Sonic games should be, a blend of linear and open, not one or the other. At least that's how I think Sonic stages should be. Sonic 2 also had a nice mix of linear and open, a bit more on the linear side, but I definitely loved Sonic 2 as well. But the point I'm trying to make is that Sonic Mania Studiopolis Zone had this really nice open feeling level design while still having a linear route. It wasn't too complicated. It got the level design right. Studiopolis Zone is a masterpiece of level design. So much creativity, so much going on. And if you tell me that 80% of the zones in Sonic Mania are going to be just as creative and good as Studiopolis Zone, then all I have to do is deal with 20% of rehashes, maybe 20% of Green Hill Zone recreations or Marble Zone recreations, even though I love Marble Zone, or Lava Reef Zone recreations. Because to be honest, I would be perfectly fine if there were no reimagined classics in the game and just new stages like Studiopolis. You know, I'll probably still have fun with the reimagined classic stages, and as I said before, it'll be fine if it's a good enough ratio, like 80% new, 20% reimagined. But what if it's not? What if it's, let's say, 14 zones in the game, and what if 10 of them are reimagined stages from Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles and CD, and then the other 4 is like Studiopolis Zone and then 3 other new zones? Then that's when it starts to become a problem. What if it's 50-50? What if it's 50% rehash stages and then 50% of the new exciting stuff? Even then, it's like only half the game is gonna feel new. I don't know. Maybe reimagined classics could be better if they did something different. You know, if you take a stage from Sonic 2 that was a classic Sonic stage and remake it in the same way in Sonic Mania, it's not really gonna feel that much unique. The reason why Generations worked is because you took stages like Speed Highway that were based off adventure style gameplay and recreated it in the image of a classic Sonic stage and then recreated it in the image of a boost stage. 2 different versions of the stage. It didn't feel like the original one, it felt like a new experience. So for this game, what if they did something like reimagined Eggman Land in the form of a classic Sonic stage? That would be a lot more creative because you're not just doing a one-to-one copy like what most of Green Hill Zone in this game felt like. It felt like 80% the same, 20% different. If you had to reimagine Eggman Land in Mania, there would be a lot more creativity in that. What if they reimagined Radical Highway? And no, Generations 3DS does not count. Or you could even reimagine Power Plant from Sonic Heroes with the moving roads, you know, with all the crazy gravity shit going on, the gold turtle robots, with the lava section at the end so you could have the lava rising and then classic Sonic needs to jump to the top. Like, that would be a better reimagining because it's so different. You're taking a stage that was in a 3D game with a team of 3 characters and then reimagining it to be played, I guess also with 3 characters because Tails and Knuckles will be playable as well, but separately. That would be a reimagined but still new, instead of just taking a classic Sonic stage and reimagining it into another classic Sonic stage. You see what I mean? I'm pretty sure we'll get like some kind of stage list eventually, even before the game releases. So I'm just hoping that we see a ton of new things there, a ton of stages that we haven't seen before. Rehashing would be this game's biggest weakness because everything else seems to be on point. So the one thing they could do to mess it up is over rehash. Maybe have a Green Hill Zone in there. I mean, Green Hill's iconic, right? Maybe one more rehashed stage, but really and truly that should be it. I mean, you guys can see the footage on the screen. What do you want to see more? Would you be fine with half the game being like Green Hill Zone, or would you want to see stages that you've never heard of? Studiopolis Zone, some other random crap that we've never seen, something so out there. Like Studiopolis Zone is so out. What is it? Is it a cinema? Is it a carnival? Is it what? We don't even know. It's that new. It hasn't been done before. And that's what makes it so exciting. Why would you want them to spend their time reimagining stages you can play right now when they could be creating all new experiences that you can't even predict? They could make a stage based on a university, like a school, literally. They could do something so outrageous. But instead they'll be focusing their efforts on recreating Oil Ocean Zone. Like, I really don't want that to happen. But that's just how I feel, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But yeah, Premy out.